Alessia runs dry. It was a hot summer's day on the island of New Florida, and the trains were being useful on the tracks with passengers, freight, and concept products. The trains on the Northeast Corridor had superliner cars, but in the real world, they're too tall for the real one. One day, Vivian was out of control. She was going way too fast. Her brakes were on fire and her speedometer was broken. "I can't stop!" cried Vivian. "My brakes are burning!" And they were. Meanwhile, Alessia was on her way to help with an important job. "Sure is hot today," she said. "I want to dry off." Then she began to speed up. "I'm gonna save you," she said. "Please do," cried Vivian. Alessia bumped the brake van and hooked up and then uncoupled Vivian from her train, and then she took off like a bullet. "Help!" she cried. "I can't stop!" She was approaching an engine shed, and she didn't see the roundhouse until it was too late. "I'm sorry," she said. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Vivian was on her side. "I can't believe I crashed into the engine shed," she said. Just then, Percy came around the corner with superliner cars on her train. She was being useful. "There's debris on the tracks," she said. Her driver applied the brakes. But it was too late. "Oopsie," she said. "Sorry." Just then, Leanne came to take the passengers to the terminus, and Alessia buffered up to a goods train. "Are you ready to go?" asked Lorraine. And they steamed out of the yard. They were being really useful. "There's no tough nut to crack," said Lorraine, "'cause I'm being really useful." "Useful than I think," said Alessia. The train was long with 86 cars. Then they steamed into the gorgeous city. Then the gates started to come down. Alessia started to feel a little dry. Then there was a road train stuck on the tracks. But little did the driver know that Lorraine and Alessia were fast approaching. "I feel a little dry," she said. "I want to cool off." The driver heard the train coming. The driver got out just in time. "Oh my goodness!" cried Lorraine. Their driver slammed the brakes on. But it was too late! Luckily, no one was hurt, but the tail of the train stayed on the tracks and the freight cars were derailed. We're sorry we crashed, moaned Lorraine. This was catastrophic. You mean catastrophic, said Alessia. After the wreck was cleaned up, Vivian was repaired. I'm glad to be useful again, she said. We are too, said Alessia and Lorraine, and the commuter train set off for the station.